Whether or not what meteorologist Joe Bastardi is not recorded in front of a live guinea pig audience this morning, but they're cute, and I thought I'd put them on. All right, put a picture of the guinea pig on. Anyway, it's Earth Day, and I'm a big lover of Earth Day. I even went out Earth Day caroling last night. Oh Earth Day, you come in April, not in May. And people were throwing trash cans at me and trash, all right, which I had to pick up because after all, I want to keep things clean. Earth Day, you see this bobbing around because I'm sitting in a chair and I'm bobbing around, all right. This is not, this is just me talking to you. All right. I don't want you to get the impression that this is all that professional. I mean, everybody just has great YouTube stuff on. I just like to talk to people and let them know what's on my mind because 5 minutes later, it may not be on my mind. So, first Earth Day. I was a freshman in high school and I was like 5'2", 162 with skinny calves. I looked like sort of a cross between SpongeBob and Patrick. And we had this big Earth Day thing where there was a play, and all the cheerleaders were dressed up as trees. And of course, from that day on, I wanted to be a tree hugger. Of course, they were the kind of trees that, it'd be like the wind smashing you in the face with a branch if I ever tried to go up to a mainland high school cheerleader. Okay, I was way down on the totem pole there. All right. So anyway, they were doing this thing, and there's this Steppenwolf song, right? Everybody remember Steppenwolf, the song "The Monster"? America, where are you now? Don't you care about your sons and daughters? Well, they changed it to Parks and Waters. So there they are, all the trees jumping around on stage, and me wanted to be a tree hugger and just sitting in the audience, hoping that someday I would be able to help the trees. Now, let me just say something. The move to clean the air and clean the water is a great one. This country is much better off than it was in the 70s as far as pollution goes, right? But carbon dioxide is not pollution. In fact, if you think about it, animals exhale 100 times more carbon dioxide than they inhale, right? So you're a carbon dioxide, exhaler. Now, according to folks on the other side of the issue, that means that you're a polluter, right? And yet trees and plants love you. In fact, I'll tell you what, I told you I wanted to be a tree hugger. I was walking by a tree the other day and it tried to hug me, right? Because they love carbon dioxide, and it also makes the crops more resistant to drought, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and by the way, in the satellite era, the Earth has never been greener than what it is now. So, since Earth Day, things have been getting better. So, I want to show you a picture here. Let me take this off. This is the ultimate Earth Day country, North Korea. This is a satellite shot of North Korea at night. And as you can see, it's dark, except where I think this is where Dear Leader hangs out. All right. So you can see the light on in Dear Leader's castle. I guess that's his name. What, I don't know. They keep switching every time a new one comes in. I don't pay attention that much. But anyway, there is some light there, and you could see South Korea and Japan at night. And, the argument is this a positive or a negative? And it's very interesting in looking at this. Now, I'm going to read a few quotes here from this this blog, C3 Headlines. All right. And it's actually, if you take a look in my book, let me see, there's my book, okay? I have the link to this so you can read, I don't know, maybe it's got over 100 quotes from these guys that are, driving this missive. Now, first of all, H.L. Mencken, who was a famous columnist, and he was a Democrat, died in 1956. Remember, I come from an old Democrat background, so I would look at all the stuff that went on before. FDR was huge in my house. JFK was everything, right? Harry Truman was, So I knew who H.L. Mencken was when I was younger. The whole aim of practical politics is to keep the populace alarmed and hence clamoring to be led to safety by menacing it with an endless series of hobgoblins, all of them imaginary. Speak, Joe. And here's this beautiful quote. The urge to save humanity is almost always a false face for the urge to rule it. And I put it forth to you folks. There are some good and honest scientists that disagree with me. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be right. I don't believe it, and I give my opinion and I explain why. But most of the stuff, most of the driving force of all this has nothing to do with weather and climate. And I'm going to read you some quotes here, again, off this site. And I'll keep the site on rather than my picture because I will be looking over. I want you to listen to this quote by Paul Watson, founder of Greenpeace. It doesn't matter what is true. It only matters what people believe is true. How about this from Daniel Bodkin? The only way to get our society to truly change is frighten people with the possibility of a catastrophe. And then there's David Suzuki, who's a celebrated scientist. This is a 1990 quote. 1990, more than any other time in history, the 1990s will be a turning point for human civilization. Well, since the 1990s, climate-related deaths are down, and we continue to see an increase in life expectancy. We see an increase in personal GDP. Major poverty is going down. Prosperity is going up. It was a turning point. People became more energy efficient. All right, so anyway, we got more and more energy into, remember, energy is the lifeline of the economy. A prosperous country is able to actually do some things, right? So we want everybody to be prosperous. What we want to do is it's the old, oops, there's my guinea pig. Here's me again. I got to keep switching around. This is not professional, okay? This is me just talking to you. All right, so, if the old scripture saying, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he can eat forever, right? Providing that, you're near a lake that has a lot of fish in it, all right? And they reproduce, never mind. Okay, so anyway, that's not what the missive is here. So let me read you a couple more quotes. I'll get a couple of Al Gore quotes in there. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, I believe it's appropriate to have an over-representation of factual presentations on how dangerous it is, as a predicate for opening up the audience to listen to what the solutions are and how hopeful it is we are going to solve this crisis. So create a crisis that's not there. We are running out of time, says Al Gore. We must have a planetary solution to this planetary crisis. All right, so here's what they say. The people that tell you what they are going to do, and then they try to push the missive on you. But it's not the science. It's like this whole situation with trying to redistribute the wealth of the earth. In fact, this is from Ottmar Ettenhofer, high-level UN IPC official, IPCC. We redistribute de facto the world's wealth by climate policy. Basically, it's a big mistake to discuss climate policy separately from the major themes of globalization. One has to free oneself from the illusion that international climate policy is environmental policy. This has almost nothing to do with environmental policy. Okay? So, see, the crazy thing to me is these people are admitting what they are up to. Now, we had Dixie Lee Ray. Interesting name. It sounds like she's from the South, but she was a former governor of the state of Washington. Here's her quote. The objective clearly enunciated by the leaders of UNCED is to bring about a change in the present system of independent nations. The future is to be a world government with a central planning by the United Nations. Fear of environmental crisis, whether real or not, is expected to lead to compliance. Al Gore adopting a central organizing principle means embarking on an all-out effort to use every policy and program, every law and institution to halt the destruction of the environment. So you create this big crisis, and it's a kind of situation where it's a shiny penny. You tell people, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. But really, something else is going on. And these are the quotes from the people. I got to get the one from Ted Turner. Okay, I still have the camera on me. Let me see if I can find the one from Ted Turner, and then you could go in. There's over 100 quotes here that will show you what this is really about. All right. Okay. More strong, a wealthy elitist and primary power behind the UN throne and large CO2 producer. Current lifestyles and consumption patterns of the affluent middle class involving high meat intake, use of fossil fuels, appliances, air conditioning, and suburban housing is not sustainable. They want to bundle you up. Okay. Ted Turner. Global warming will kill most of us and turn the rest of us into cannibals. Now, what's fascinating about that particular quote is that Ted Turner, let me see if I can find this here. Ted Turner also, in a quote, advocate, here it is. Here's Ted Turner. There are too many people. That's why we have global warming. We have global warming because too many people are using too much stuff. And there was one quote, and again, it's tough to find it. Here it is. Ted Turner, a total population of 250 to 300 million people, a 95% decline from present levels would be ideal. All right? So we're dealing with this. I'm just telling you there all the time, there's another side of this issue. Of course, it's Earth Day. All right? And I sang an Earth Day carol. Have a holly jolly Earth Day, okay? Have a holly jolly Earth Day. Please do not be mean. When you go out, take care of yourself and make sure things are green. Okay, so there's your Earth Day carol, okay? So I want you to, if you can, go look at the other side. If you hate me or whatever, and you think, oh, he's out of his mind. I'm talking with my hands again, right? Okay, fine. But go look at those quotes, right? And you have to at least wonder, why would people be saying that and why is it not reported? Okay, so that's it for now. Thanks for joining me on whether or not, in this particular case, whether or not the climate missive is based on science or something else. I want you to enjoy the weather and climate because it's the only weather and climate that you've got.